Hey friends, welcome to the March edition of What Would You Make, hosted by Zaina from OK at Home DIY, Connie from Connie's Creative Creations, and special guest host, Crafty Leanie. Links to all the hosts and the playlist will be in the description box. So for all of my DIYs, I'm using scrap wood from some broken fence pickets, and I have my big assistant cutting some of the panel pieces down for me with a hacksaw. With 2 pieces cut down, I take a sanding block from Dollar Tree just to smooth out some of the edges and surfaces on my 2 pieces of wood. I decide I want to use the top of the picket as well, so I'm just going to take my Dremel and clean off the bottom edge where the picket broke off and then nip off that dog-eared top. And then finally I take the sanding attachment just to clean the edges up. I wipe down each piece of wood to get all the excess bits of dust and debris from being outdoors so that they'll be ready to be painted. So for my actual first DIY, I'm going to take the shortest piece and cover it with the Craft Wise chalkboard paint from Dollar Tree. I went a little heavy on this, but I do end up going back with a bit of sandpaper to get this kind of looking a little bit more roughed up. And I just cut the word resurrection on my Cricut Joy. All of these DIYs are faith-based for Easter, and they're very simple, but I like the way they turned out. And for this first one, I'm just simply going to add this word and then just add just a bit of distressing around the edges, resurrection of Christ, the true meaning of Easter. I think this is really beautiful, simple and beautiful. For this to stand up, I'll just hot glue a couple of the Dollar Tree wood cubes to the back, and that was it for this one. Let me know, what do you think of it? Please check out the channels of our hosts, Zaina OK at Home DIY, Connie from Connie's Creative Creations, and Leanie from Crafty Leanie. All 3 of these ladies are incredibly talented, and you'll get so much DIY inspiration. For my second piece of wood, I'm going to paint this white. And then I have these stencils from Folk Art that they're a mesh screen, but they're in that Ray Dunn font style. So I'm gonna use these. I think this will be a really nice variation for the second sign. I'm using masking tape to add a line on my board so that when I put my stencil letters down, they're all even. So I do a dry fit of my stencil letters to see how I want to have them situated. I wanted to try to get them centered. I decided my tape was a little too high, so I removed it and made it just a little bit lower, and then put my letters back. And once I got the area that I wanted to have my letters set up in, I removed the backing and applied them to the wood and used that same Craftwise chalkboard paint to paint in my letters. I went back over the J and the I with a little bit more paint just so the letters would be more pronounced. And then the second piece in the packet of stencils has all these different little leaves and flourishes. So I wanted to add just a little embellishment at the bottom of Rejoice with these double leaves and a small heart. For the last DIY, I want to use a scripture or part of the scripture. John 14:6 is, Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Well, I can't fit all of that on this small piece of wood, so I'm just going to have the first portion, I am the way and the truth and the life. I didn't want to make the wording too small. I wanted it to really be able to be seen, so that's why I'm only going to use the first portion of the scripture. So here I'm just trying to decide where I need to cut my letters so that they can fit nicely on my wood. And I'm not going to paint this. I'm just going to leave it just natural as it is, and the only embellishment will be just the words themselves. And again, I'm using masking tape again just to make sure that I put my words down and that they're straight, because when I try to eyeball stuff, it ends up looking so wonky. So I really wanted everything just to be straight. This black vinyl is actually the permanent Dollar Tree vinyl, and I didn't have any problem cutting it, and it really stuck down to this wood pretty well. So I like this permanent vinyl better from Dollar Tree versus that the temporary vinyl. It doesn't really want to stick that well, and I have trouble in the joy where I can't really cut things that are too small, or it'll just like really get all crunched up and come up from the backing paper. And there was enough room at the bottom for me to add John 14:6. And once I had that added, I just hot glued a tower block to the back so this would stand up like the other signs, and that was it. And here's a look back at my other two signs from this video. I thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. And don't forget there is a playlist. I'll have a link in the description box, along with a link to all three of our hosts. I hope you have a wonderfully blessed Easter season.